Ah, good. So Monday evening, lovely having you here. We probably do a little bit more for our upper backs, also kind of freeing our breath a little bit more. So at any point when the shoulders are a little bit more hunched forward, we are closing in also on our breath. So we are opening up for the chest, for the upper back, for the neck area, for the chest and heart center. So we need we need a strap or a belt tonight and also a rolled up blanket. So we start with the rolled up blanket first, and we are starting with breath awareness. So we will be moving the blanket probably from our ribs all the way down towards the sacrum. So as we get started, you can start on your back and bring that blanket probably underneath so where usually the bra strap sits. So depending, I think we had it previously rolled up. So find a kind of firmness of your blanket or your towel that is not too much cutting into your back, but it lifts the chest, the rib cage up slightly. So bring it sideways onto your mat. You can always unroll it. So we're not going to be here for too long. We are literally moving that blanket from the lower tips of our shoulder blades, where the bra strap is, almost gradually down an inch, another inch towards the lower back, and even onto the sacrum eventually. So that allows us to free the breath in those different areas. So we start with that area where kind of the bra strap is. At any point if it feels uncomfortable, unroll your blanket a little bit, make it less high. So you can even just have it lower, and stretch your legs out in front of you and bring your arms either T-shaped or out towards the sides, palms facing up. Bring also your chin towards your chest, so you might feel a little bit of a stretch through the back of your neck. So allow yourself to settle here for a couple of breaths. Just the weight of your body allows to open the rib cage, to open the chest. So, and I invite you as well to lift your toes, or to point your toes up towards the ceiling. So the heels are pushing kind of towards the bottom of your mat. And without kind of gasping for the breath. So let the breath just softly flow in through your nose and into the upper part of your chest, your rib cage, so the one that's lifting up. So as you breathe in, let that breath come naturally, softly, gently in through your nose, all the way up into your rib cage. And as you exhale the breath out towards the soles of your feet. So you may feel a slight stretch for the chest, the upper back, for the tummy. So maybe through other areas. So allowing just the rib cage to lift slightly. So stay with the first setting, perhaps for another 5 breaths. So inhaling softly through your nose, and as you exhale, almost lengthen through the soles of your feet. So you bring the breath up into your upper chest, rib cage area, and as you exhale, as if you lengthen your body, as if you lengthen your lower abdominals, sending that breath out through the soles of your feet. So if it feels uncomfortable, flexing your toes, keep the feet just neutrally kind of relax without letting them flop out too far towards the side. So having a little bit of activation through your legs. If you wish, you can also exhale out through a wide mouth. So inhaling through your nose and exhaling, softening. Perhaps still working with the visualization to draw that breath out through the soles of your feet. So even here, we're in this very gentle back bend. So the gentle back that lifts the rib cage. So feel perhaps that expansion, that slight stretch for the front body. And that extension down, out through your legs. So take the last deep breath into your rib cage, into your lungs. Exhaling and breathing out through the soles of your feet. So from here, begin to bend both knees. Bring your both hands towards the towel, towards the blanket. Maybe just slightly lift your hips as you move your blanket, perhaps an inch or so further down. So we are probably moving towards the lower back. Again, adjust the blanket, adjust the height of your blanket. So we are moving the breath down from the chest all the way towards the lower part of our ribs. You can extend your legs once more if you wish. And let the breath flow in through your nose, stretching, lifting the area, kind of the lower rib area. Arms can be once more alongside the body, palms facing up. So let the breath softly flow in through your nose, lifting through the lower ribs. And as you exhale, exhale through the soles of your feet. Guiding the breath all the way down and out through the body. Stay with that breath once more for about 5 rounds. Breathing softly, gently in through your nose and exhaling out through the soles of your feet. So we're freeing the breath. So it might sometimes, especially when we're a little bit stressed or anxious, it's stuck in the upper chest area. We are stretching here the diaphragm and the abdominals, the lung tissues here as well. Perhaps also breathe out to the left and to the right of your rib cage. So think of that breath again as 3-dimensional breath. So inhaling that 3-dimensional breath and also exhaling it. So stay perhaps one more breath in that area. Feeling perhaps that stretch for the tummy area. Inviting that breath in. And as you finish that next exhale, out through the soles of your feet, bend both knees again. Bring the soles of your feet onto the floor. Lift your lower back, lift your bottom. So moving that blanket towards the lower, towards the lower back. Again, perhaps it's now time to maybe just slightly flatten the blanket a little bit more. Extend your legs out again. And breathe into literally the kind of towards the pelvic floor area. So the diaphragm, where the diaphragm moves down. Breathing into your belly. And exhaling out through the soles of your feet. You can exhale out through a wide mouth, perhaps even sighing it out. Literally seek that length through your legs, out through your feet, through the soles. Feel that expansion out to the sides and perhaps even into the lower back. Stay with that breath for another 3 rounds. Perhaps there's a bit of a stretch. You might feel a stretch for the abdominal area. So just using the breath wisely to nourish the body, to kind of slightly even invigorate the body. So once you finish that last breath into the abdominal area, bring both feet again onto the floor, bending both knees. Move that blanket onto your pelvis, so you're lifting the sacrum onto your blanket. And you can extend once more the legs out in front of you. So let the breath flow into the pelvic floor area, the area below the belly button. So gentle, very, very gentle back bend. Take another 4 breaths in through your nose. As you exhale, send the breath down through your legs, out through the soles of your feet. So we are literally shifting our nervous system from that sympathetic state where we might just rush around, just a doing state, where the organs in the body seem to be a little bit more alerted, sort of calming them down. So stay with your breath for 1 more cycle, breathing in through your nose, really expanding down towards the pelvic floor, exhaling, softening. Bend both knees, bring the feet down onto the earth. This time release or lift your hips, release the blanket out. So perhaps just place it next to you, allowing the hips to settle. Bring the soles of your feet relatively close to your bottom. Knees about hip distance apart. And move into bridge. So lifting the hips up towards the ceiling. And palms can be alongside the body, or arms alongside the body, palms facing down. Stay for perhaps 2 breaths, lengthening from the knees all the way down to the chest area. And as you exhale, slowly lower the spine down. So do this for a couple of rounds as you lift your hips off the floor, lengthening through your spine, stretching once more for the front body. And as you exhale, slowly lower down. So you can bring your arms in as well if you wish. On the inhale, lift your hips, bring your arms up and over. Backs of your palms may make contact with the earth. As you exhale, slowly bring your arms forward and lift the hips down towards the earth as well. Lower the hips down. Find your flow, combining movement and breath. Inhale, arms reach up, hips lift. Exhale, slowly lower. Notice if your knees go to the left or to the right. Keep your knees pointing forwards. Keep the knees parallel to each other. If you wish, keep your arms perhaps even over your head, perhaps stopping here. Keeping the hips lifted, pressing into your feet. Breathing in through your front body. Activating through the glutes. 1 more breath as we lengthen. Exhale, bring your hands down as your hips also move down. So perhaps 1 more, that lengthening breath. Inhale, lift your hips, bring the arms up and over. Perhaps bring the arms onto the floor as you press the feet into the floor. If you wish, lift your heels off the floor as well. So you're balancing on the balls of your feet, makes the posture a little bit stronger on the lower back. 1 more breath. And then bring your heels perhaps down and the arms and hips down as well. And hug your knees in towards your chest. Gentle rock, so gentle back bend and also inversion here for the bridge posture. Noticing how does the lower back feel, the mid back. Maybe the glutes feel a little bit tight or a little bit tender. So allow yourself to just rock here, circle, nourishing the lower back. Maybe you wish to curl together like a little ball, so bring your nose towards your knees. And then release. Again, once more coming up into bridge posture. Feet relatively close towards your buttocks. Lift your hips off the floor and then shuffle your shoulders together so you can clasp your hands underneath your bottom. So the shoulders move closer towards one another. You might lift you a little bit and wobble. So the more you are able to bring the shoulders together, the more of a stretch you might feel in the front body. Breathe into the tops of your lungs. Lengthening from your perhaps thighs, from your knees, all the way down towards your chest, the upper back. Lovely. One more deep breath. And then exhale, slowly unclasp your hands, lower your hips down and hug your knees into your chest. Again, rocking here from side to side. Good. Again, you can do any free movement, such as bring your nose towards your knees, so you're rounding the spine again. And then bring your palms out to the sides, almost T-shaped, this time palms facing down. And let your knees rock from side to side. So we're moving into a very gentle twist without letting the knees drop towards the side. So you can circle as you move almost from the left to the right. You might need the abdominals to come back to center. So you can also use the palms there stretched out with palms down. It might give you a little bit more stability. So warming up here through the back, you can lift, you can kind of sway from side to side. You can make bigger circles, circling on your sacrum, on your hip bones. And then eventually let your knees drop towards the right side. So we're coming into that twist, both knees on the floor, and then roll your left shoulder back towards the earth. Your both palms this time can face up towards the ceiling. And bringing that breath into the left side of our body. So the left shoulder might kind of hover a little bit over the floor. So freeing the breath in conjunction with back bends. This is the theme for today's session. So deep breaths, let them flow into the lower abdominals, waist area. Stay for another 2 to 3 breaths. Lovely. Bring your palm or bring the right palm back onto the floor. Help yourself, bring the knees in towards the chest as you roll onto your back once more. So maybe a little bit of a shuffle, maybe a little bit of just centering yourself. And then let your knees flip over towards the left side. So both knees or the left knee definitely makes contact with the earth, and then roll the right shoulder back, palms facing up. So just the right shoulder can still hover, opening for the right chest, for the right pectorals, and breathe into the right side of your body. Your head can look up towards the ceiling. Deep breaths into the right side of your body. So freeing the breath, especially if you were maybe less mobile today in your spine, in your upper body. So stay for 2 more breaths. Freeing the breath, which might make you leave a little bit more energized, a little bit less restricted. And then slowly bring the right palm down as you roll, or the left palm down as well as you roll back onto your back. Perhaps just hug your knees into your chest, bring the nose towards your knees. And then rock up or roll over into seated position. You can sit cross-legged or even on a blanket. So take your strap, mine's actually here, take your strap or your belt, please. So those who joined a little bit later. So just bring it about wider than shoulder width apart, please. So if it feels uncomfortable sitting cross-legged, then take your feet out in front of you. It's always possible. So inhale, bring the arms up. And then exhale, just lean towards one side. So we are stretching, we are lengthening for one side of the body. Inhale, coming back up to center. So keep a little bit of tension in between your hands. And then lean over towards the opposite side. You might even make contact with the floor. That's fine. You might even just be up here. So find a little bit of a sway, a little bit of a stretch. Your neck, your head can be in any position. Back. So without holding your breath, keep breathing naturally through the stretch. Lovely. So you can always adjust your grip if you feel maybe that's too wide, maybe it's too narrow. So there's no right or wrong. We're achieving just to bring the breath into the side body. Lovely. So seeking that length, maybe stay for a breath or two. If it feels uncomfortable, perhaps just keep a little bit more of a swaying motion, which might be still enough for you to feel there's more of an opening happening for the rib cage. Lovely. One more on each side. And then release the strap. Maybe shake your hands so it's sometimes a bit of too much of a grip. Bring your fingertips onto your shoulders and just opening through the chest. So make those movements quite pronounced, even with your upper back. So as you round, you can even round your upper back as you lift the chest and take your arms back. You can almost make this a full upper body movement. It's a bit of a stretch for the upper back, and as you open, also look up, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. So we are not just rolling the shoulders, but also opening up for the chest, the rib cage, having perhaps a bit of a very slight back bend. So always adjust if it feels too deep, maybe then less of a stretch, and keep it more focused on your shoulders. And even go the opposite way. So taking the elbows back, lifting up, and then kind of closing in, chin towards your chest. Lovely. So noticing where the stretch is felt, where restrictions reside. Lovely. Last movement here. And then coming back to center. So almost opening and closing. So even just having a bit of a stretch for your palms. As you open, you might even want to tip the fingertips down. So keep it quite of a stretch depending where you want to feel it. Maybe that's already enough. Maybe you want to go all the way down. Lovely. So last one here. And then shake out your hands, maybe make a fist, perhaps a little bit movement for your wrists. If you're doing a lot of things on computer, perhaps just circle it. Maybe you can bring the palms together, just maybe do a little bit of kind of just free motion, free movement. So perhaps even go the opposite way. So we always have a certain way of going. Maybe even that swanky movement, a bit of a wave, perhaps even go the opposite way. And you can stretch your palms away from you. Bring your chin towards your chest, round your spine. So your hands push forward, so the palms push forward, you're pushing back through the back. And on the inhale, bring the arms up, lifting the chest. Exhale, bring your arms further down again. As you press them away from you, draw the belly button in, chin towards your chest. Last one here, inhale, open. Stretching up. Exhale, drawing the navel in as you push your palms away from you, almost parallel to the floor. You're drawing your shoulder blades out and release your arms. Perhaps bring them onto your knees, whichever way you're sitting. Maybe even just lean back. So you're holding onto your arms, which might bring you a nice sensation for the upper back. Chin towards your chest. Spreading your wings in a way so they're just stretching the upper body. And then inhaling, bring the chest forward. Interlace your hands behind your back, make a fist. So draw the fists away from you, lifting up through the chest. And then breathe into the front body, lovely. So gentle squeeze of the shoulder blades. Now squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then release. Give your arms a bit of a shake. Good. Come onto all fours. Knees about hip distance apart, maybe a little bit of a wiggle through your bottom, a bit of a stretch, tilting your bottom towards the left, towards the right, looking over one side of the shoulder. So freeing up again the spine, the breath. Good. So even arms are linked, hence arms are linked towards our lungs. So if they get a good stretch, it might make breathing easier. So from here, palms are usually, or the fingertips point usually forwards towards the front of your mat. Turn your palms around so the fingertips point towards your knees. You might bring the hands in a little bit closer to you. So depending on how it feels in your wrists, and very gently lean back, but keep the heel of your wrist on the floor. So we are stretching the inside of our arms. So it's a very small, very subtle movement. Always come back to neutral. You might feel you're activating through the abdominals a little bit. So you're kind of controlling the weight, that stretch. If it is a good stretch, you might stay for a couple of breaths. Otherwise, rock forwards and backwards. Lovely. And coming slowly back to neutral. Maybe just give your wrists a little bit of a shake, perhaps rocking, so you can come up to kneeling. So, good. Bring your hands in the just normal position. If it feels so, just out in front of you. Slide your right knee just a little bit ahead of your left knee. So we're moving into those cat and cows, which might feel a little bit different on the back, on the lower back. On the exhale, draw the navel in as you look towards your knees, towards your thighs. Inhale, drop the belly, lift your chest, look forward. So a couple of rounds here, stretching through the usual cat and cows, with just a very slight change for the position of our legs, which might have a different effect on the lower back, on the upper back area. So inhale, lift the tailbone, lifting the chest, and exhale, pushing the floor away from you, rounding the spine. Lovely. One more here with the right knee slightly forward than the left knee. Exhale, lower. So sliding the knee back again. Left knee comes forward. So about 5 of those as well. On the exhale, draw the navel in, stretching, pushing into your hands, so pushing the floor away from you. And then inhale, lengthen. Lovely. A couple of rounds here. Good. Rounding. Chin towards the chest, letting your neck, head soften as well. Good. And once you finish, slide your hand back, bring the big toes together, shift the bottom back. So we are stretching for the hips and lengthening through the spine. So you can perhaps circle through your wrists, maybe shake your hands out so there's no weight bearing, and lengthening, maybe even wiggling through your hips just a little bit, slightly left to right. You can bring your palms underneath your forehead as it's more of a stretch for the back. And connect to your breath again. So breathe deeply in through your nose, sending it all the way down towards the pelvic floor, and exhaling out through a wide mouth perhaps. Take 2 more breaths here. So there's hopefully enough space to breathe deeply so the belly has space to move. Exhaling. So last deep breath. And then moving back into tabletop. Curl your toes under and lift up into downward dog. So take enough time to maybe stretch out through your calves, wiggle your bottom, move your feet almost to the outside edges of your mat. So the left foot towards the left side, the right foot towards the left side, bending one knee at a time, perhaps wiggling your bottom from side to side. So, and I'm getting a good stretch here on the evening. Lovely. One more breath. And then bring your knees down and lower all the way down onto your tummy. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Elbows really hug towards your spine. Bring your forehead onto the floor, drawing the chin towards your chest. So we are lengthening, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then lifting up into a mini cobra, seeking that length through the back of your spine. And exhale, lower. So keeping the tops of your feet on the floor twice more, hugging your elbows in as you seek that length. Lovely. Exhale, lower. We are building also strength in the lower back. Last one here. Lengthen. Looking towards the top of your mat. Exhale, lower. So press into your hands, into tabletop, and all the way up into downward dog. Change in perspective, wiggling perhaps, so any free movement. If you wish, you can lift one leg off the floor, free leg downward dog, maybe stretching here. Perhaps bending that knee, a bit like a dog's tail, maybe open that hip out to the side. Perhaps bring it back down the foot, changing sides, lifting up. Perhaps bending that knee, opening up the hip, kind of that wing dog against the lamp post. Bring your foot back down. And then come onto your knees and all the way down onto your belly. Bring one ear onto the floor. And just staying here for 2 breaths, noticing how the breath flows, how the body feels, your wrists. Lovely. One more breath while the same side of your ear is still on the floor. Then change the position of your head. So the right ear is now on, or the second ear is on the floor, and stay for another 3 deep breaths. So breathing into your belly and exhaling perhaps out through your nose or out through a wide mouth. So then moving back into neutral position. So have your hands underneath your shoulders. 3 of those mini cobras again. Hug your elbows towards your rib cage. Keep the tops of your feet on the floor. Activate your legs. Inhale, lift, seeking that length in your spine. So rather than being up here, so seek that length. So which is means more maybe holding through the lower back. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Last one here, inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower. Perhaps bring your forehead on the floor, chin towards your chest. Deep breath into the belly. Press into your hands, moving into tabletop. So you can stay here in tabletop or move all the way into child's pose, or if you wish, come into downward dog. So you choose depending on your energy levels, depending on maybe tiredness. So we will all eventually come down into child's pose. So you can stay in tabletop or you can travel through downward dog. Perhaps do a couple of movements, a couple of stretches. So kind of just a free movement. Lovely. So if you're still in downward dog, slowly make your way into tabletop and bring your big toes together, knees a bit wider, shifting the bottom back, restful child's pose. You can bring your palms underneath your forehead and softening into the posture. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose and perhaps out through your nose, out through your mouth. Lovely. And find your way into tabletop and moving through downward dog into standing posture. So maybe just a bit of a couple of, perhaps 2 breaths in downward dog, maybe just looking towards your feet, towards your shins, your calves. And then begin to walk your hands towards your feet. Stay in that forward fold for a few breaths or for a couple of breaths. You can hold onto your shins, you can keep your hands towards your feet, just holding onto your elbows. So allowing just the breath to flow into your lungs while seeking a little bit of stillness, a little bit of calmness. So then slowly begin to roll up towards standing. So take time to feel into that stretch as you roll up, uncurl the body, vertebra by vertebra. Maybe feeling even a little bit longer. Good. So coming back into the kind of the back bending theme. So bring your hands onto your lower back as if you wear jeans and you bring your jeans, those hands into your jeans pockets. Bring your elbows, so the elbows might just casually lift up or move out towards the left and to the right. Draw the elbows together towards one another. So that in itself might lift the chest up towards the ceiling or kick you or cause a stretch for the body. Then look up without throwing the head back. So keeping just the head still supported. It's more of a lifting through the chest as you look up towards the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades together and breathing into that front body. Lovely. Holding for one more breath. And then soften into the body. Have your hands still on your lower back. Slide your hands down. You probably come across your bottom as you lengthen. Almost like a swan neck as you fold forward, kind of releasing the hands down through the backs of your legs, coming into that standing forward fold. Shake your neck, your head. You can take your feet perhaps a little bit wider, so there's enough that it feels perhaps less restrictive on your abdominals. Bring your hands towards the front of your legs, so towards your shins, and then rolling back up again, sliding up from your shins, your knees, your thighs, uncurving vertebra by vertebra. Rolling the shoulder back. Bring your hands once more onto your lower back, jeans pockets. Bring the elbows towards one another, lifting through your chest, breathing into the front body. Notice if you're throwing the head too far back. Also, perhaps see if you're shifting the hips forward. So keeping your hips stacked over your knees, over your ankles, so that back bend comes from the rib cage area. Couple of breaths into your front, into your chest. And then soften and slide your hands down, keeping the chest still lifted. So you begin to fold from your hips, and then your chest, your head slowly begin to soften as you come towards that forward fold. Let your hands slide towards the front body, and then rolling back up, so sliding the hands back up as you uncurve. Lovely. So maybe a little bit of a wiggle. So before we do it one more time, bring your arms out to the sides, bring them out, up towards the ceiling. Interlace your hands, bring the palms up. So we are seeking that length. Keep perhaps a soft bend in your elbows. And once more, lean over towards one side. Look down towards your feet, towards the earth. One more breath, good. Coming back up to standing. Bring your arms out to the sides, give them a bit of a shake. So once more, arms out to the sides, bring them back up, interlace your hands. Turn your palms so the palms face up towards the ceiling. You might have a soft bend in your knee, in your elbows. Lean over towards the second side. Look down towards the mat. So you're coming literally through a twist in your neck. Lovely, one more breath. And then coming back, release your hands. Bring them back onto your lower back once more. Make space, and you might even walk back a little bit as we're coming back into downward dog. So as we fold forward, then we're moving into downward dog. So our elbows reach back as you lift the chest. Breathe into that front body. Lovely. And then begin that journey down again, down your bottom, keeping the chest still lifted, and eventually fold down towards your shins, towards your calves. Bring your hands onto the earth, walk through that downward dog. Lovely, perhaps 2 or 3 breaths, maybe a little bit of wiggling, any stretches, any free leg downward dogs, any movements, bends through your knees, opening through your hips, whatever you fancy doing. And then moving back into tabletop, coming onto your knees. So we need the strap again, or the strap is optional, you may not need it. So I'm going to show you first before it's hard for you to see. So we are transitioning onto our backs again. You can bring the strap out to side, so take it in between both hands. So the idea is you can interlace your hands. If it feels uncomfortable, too restrictive, hold the strap, and we are lifting up into kind of that balancing locust pose. So you press the strap, so you keep the strap quite tense in between your hands, and then you lower it coming onto your knee, onto one side of your ear. So if you think you don't need the strap, clasp your hands, you're lifting, you're drawing the fists away from you. We're lengthening through the chest, through the shoulders, and exhaling, bring your opposite ear down. So the strap really just acts as having the arms, having something to hold on to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then exhale, lower. So find your own setup with your hands, it might be different depending on shoulders. So as you inhale, you lift. Exhale, you soften, release the body. So we are seeking that length, so the hands reach towards the feet. They are holding onto the strap, maybe as if they want to tear that strap apart to get that length into the body, into the back. So perhaps do one more on each side, offsetting a little bit of hunching. And avoid lifting the neck too high. I'm just exaggerating. So keeping the neck in line with your spine. So you're lengthening, looking perhaps down towards the earth, and then release. So release perhaps the strap all together. Maybe bring your hands underneath your forehead. Bend both knees, maybe sway your legs from side to side, circling the legs from side to side. Deep breaths into your belly. So finding that release through the lower back. The windscreen wipers, letting the legs flop from side to side. Good. So from here, bring the feet, bring the legs back to stillness. And we're coming into that half moon shape. So if you look at yourself from above, we're walking our feet towards the right corner of our mat. So just a little bit as you feel the legs are not exactly centered, but both feet in that bottom right hand corner, and lift your upper body slightly, bring it also into the top right hand corner. Make a cushion with your forearms, your palms, and rest your forehead, your chin, your cheek perhaps on it, and breathe into the left side of your body. So we're seeking once more a bit more freedom for our breath through the left side of our waist. So a couple of breaths. And then slowly untangle, so bring your upper body back into the center of your mat, walk your feet also back. Maybe a little bit of a wiggle. Even just taking quickly stock how it feels on the left side of your body. And walk both feet towards the left corner of your mat. And then bring the upper body towards the left hand, top hand corner of your mat. Settle into that stretch as you breathe deeply into the right side of your rib cage, your waist. Bringing some spaciousness back into the body. So lying on our front and breathing deeply allows us to bring deeper, more nourishing breaths into the body. So take 2 more breaths in that second half moon shape. Lovely. And then walk your upper body back towards the center. Walk your feet back. Maybe just wiggle here. Stay for 1 more deep breath in through your nose. Exhale perhaps out through your nose, through your mouth. Finding that length, and then roll onto your back, please. So we're coming into that fish posture. So bring your palms alongside the body. And then shuffle your hands. You might want to bend both knees first. Shuffle them underneath your bottom. So as if you want to hide your arms, want to hide your palms. So the shoulders squeeze together as you literally lying on your arms, lying on your palms. So my palms underneath my butt cheeks, literally. And from here, lift your chest, the thoracic spine, your heart center up towards the ceiling. That means you're probably pushing a little bit into your elbows as you lift. You might be balancing on the back of your head, on the back of your skull. Fish posture, your feet or your legs are stretched out in front of you. You're in a straight line as you push your chest up towards the ceiling. Once more, bring more length into the front body. At any point, soften, release, maybe even just free your hands so you're literally lying flat on the floor again. Take a deep breath. Maybe come once more into the posture. So kind of hide your arms, hide your hands as your shoulder blades move towards one another. That action itself lifts the chest. Straighten your legs out once you feel a little bit caught in that posture. And then press your forearms, the elbows into the floor as you lift up through your chest. So you're balancing perhaps 5–10% of your weight on the back of your head. So gently lift through your chest. And then soften again. Oh, hug both knees into your chest. And then hold onto your strap again, or get hold of your strap. And then bring that strap around the arch of your right foot. The left knee is bent. And then extending the right leg up towards the ceiling. So, nice juicy hamstring stretch. If the strap is long enough, allow your hands just to slide down. The elbows, your upper arms are supported on the earth. And breathe into your hamstrings, into the backs of your legs. Inhale through your nose into your belly. Exhaling. Perhaps sighing it out. So perhaps with every breath, it might feel a little easier as the body starts to soften. Perhaps wiggle your upper and your lower jaw. Perhaps stick your tongue out. So releasing any tension, any remaining tension from your jaw. Stay for another 2 breaths on the right side. So from here, we're doing it slightly differently tonight. Bring your left leg up towards the ceiling, so to meet your right foot. So we're literally having both feet in the strap. Perhaps widen that gap between your feet a little bit longer. So you're pressing the tailbone, the lower back into the earth, as we're kind of just transitioning through that posture. So visualize your spine from the back of your head all the way down towards your sacrum, your tailbone. So if you feel like your tailbone's lifted, so I'm exaggerating, bring the hips down and also your tailbone down. And keep that length while both legs are still kind of caught in that strap. So we're, after that, lengthening, almost like neutralizing for the lower back. Stay for one more breath with both feet in the strap. And then begin to transition fully. So bring the right leg down, bend your right knee. So the right foot is on the floor as you just have your left leg in that belt. And soften into the posture. So inhaling deeply through your nose. And perhaps out through your nose or through your mouth. So let the breath move through you. Three more deep breaths. Perhaps wiggle your upper, your lower jaw again. Oh. Maybe pull a funny or scary face. And then slowly transition also the left leg down, so releasing the strap. Have both knees once more in towards your chest, perhaps a little rocking on your back from side to side. So flattening through the lower back body. And then find a comfortable relaxation posture. So could be on your back. You could also use your blanket again. So if you roll that blanket up and pop it underneath your thighs, perhaps just towards your knees, so there's a very gentle lift through the backs of your thighs. Perhaps even maybe bring a whole pillow underneath the backs of your thighs. Allow the feet to roll out open, perhaps palms facing up. Before you settle, take one more deep breath in through your nose and exhale side out completely. The whole body softens, relaxes, releases into the earth. Your eyes can be closed, or just a soft gaze, whatever you prefer, whatever works best. And then just notice all these different areas, those corners, those points where your body touches the floor. So once you notice those areas, give yourself permission to release the weight of your body into the earth. Soften the body with every exhale. And with every inhale, bring that spaciousness back into your body. Perhaps you already notice if it's easier to breathe, to bring fuller breaths into the body. Perhaps not just the chest, but perhaps also into the lower ribs, towards the lower abdominals. If your mind is distracted by thoughts or by anything that kept you alert during the day. Just bring your awareness to your breath. So notice the areas of your body rising with every inhale and softening, releasing with every exhale. Perhaps directing the breath all the way towards your feet, maybe into your toes, into your heels, to the soles of your feet, your ankles. Perhaps directing the breath into your shins, into your calves. So feel how those areas you're directing the breath into just start to feel a little heavier. And guide the breath into your knees, the backs of your knees. Your thighs and the backs of your thighs. Let the breath settle in your sacrum, your hips, your abdominals. Invite those deeper, perhaps even heavier breaths into your abdominal area. Invite the breath into your lower ribs, into the sides of your ribs, the chest, the front body, perhaps the back body, towards the back of your backs of your lungs. Direct the breath into your fingertips, your palms, your wrists. Let your forearms, your elbows, and your upper arms fill with that heaviness. Release your shoulders. Feel the back of your head making contact with the earth. And then let the breath soften your jaw, skin, and your face, especially in between your eyebrows, your forehead, the crown of your head. Feel your whole body breathing from the tops of your toes all the way up towards the crown of your head. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. So from here, invite deeper breaths back into your body. Send those deep breaths all the way down towards the belly area, the abdominals. Begin to bring movement into your fingers, your toes, your arms, feet. Perhaps rock your head from side to side. Gently awakening your neck. Maybe stretch your arms up overhead. Best stretch of the day. Stretching from fingertips to toes. And curl together like a little ball. So hug your knees in towards your chest. So if you wish, you can bring your nose towards your knees once more, just really coming to that safe ball, and then rest your shoulders, your head back on the floor. Roll over to one side. So stay there for a breath or two in that kind of recovery position. So indicating the nervous system, it's slowly time to move again. And then from here, press one hand into the floor as you bring yourself back up into any seated position. Good. So then just bringing one more deep breath in. So you can bring your arms out wide, reach the palms up, seek that length. Bring your palms in together and slowly draw them towards your heart center for harmony and balance. Namaste. Thank you for joining.